The brain box, the spot to get you hot, motivated, educated, money generated. The brain box, place to take you higher, get you inspired, keep you lifted, show you gifted. The brain box, place to take you higher, get you inspired, keep you lifted, show you gifted. The brain box, motivated, educated, money generated. The brain box. The brain box. What up? It's me, Magi, love of Get Lifted Entertainment, here with another episode of The Brain Box. As always, I want to thank everyone that continues to support The Brain Box, as well as Get Lifted Entertainment. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button there on the channel, and follow on IG at The Brain Box. The Brain, BOXX, 2 X's on the box. Get Lifted Entertainment on Instagram as well. And if you haven't done so already, please make sure to check out getliftedentertainment.com. So today I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of being an independent artist. In every industry, there's pros and cons. In today's modern music industry, it's a lot easier to release your music as an independent artist. For some, this is a plus. For others, it's still challenging. However, there are still more artists breaking barriers digitally than ever before. So at some point, I'm sure many artists have asked themselves, do I stay independent or should I work towards a deal with a record label? In all honesty, you really have to decide what's best for you, and then take it from there. So I'm going to jump right into it. In regards to the pros of self-releasing your music, and meaning staying independent as an independent artist. First of all, you have 100% control. You also have full control over your distribution, your marketing, your artwork, messaging, deadlines, etc. As an independent artist, you have free will to make decisions about your creative vision. It's ideal for most artists to keep control of their creative vision, because what tends to happen sometimes when you sign a deal, they may want you to change your persona and who you are in regards to what they feel fits and will make the dollars, right? So that's one of the biggest pluses, is you have 100% control. You keep your profits. Independent artists keep 100% of the profits generated from their music sales, streams, licensing deals, merchandise, and other revenue sources. Obviously, if you have a team, yes, you're going to have to pay out those individuals, but again, the profits are coming to you first, and it's up to you to have that respect and responsibility to make sure that those who have helped you get to the achievement of having that residual income coming in, make sure they're paid for their roles and what they've done for you. If you've agreed to a management, record, road manager, what have you, if there's percentages that need to be paid out when you get those profits in, it's your responsibility to make sure that individuals get paid. Otherwise, you start dwindling the value of you and your brand. Another thing is you have 100% ownership of your music. Independent artists own the masters to your music. You also have the freedom to negotiate licensing and publishing deals when you own the masters to your music. You don't have to worry about confusing contracts, expensive lawyers, signing over the rights and all that stuff to your music. If you own 100% of your music, own your masters. You also have today, obviously this digital era, it brings a variety of music services and tools for independent artists. Musicians have access to music distribution, marketing, streaming, merchandise creation, and other services digitally nowadays that it's so helpful and beneficial to the process of generating that residual income as an independent artist. You just have to put in the work, the research. Knowledge is definitely power. Applied knowledge is more powerful. So the internet makes it very easy for musicians to reach new audiences. You can now deliver your music digitally through, like I said, through the digital streaming platforms like Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, and the list goes on. And so with those music streaming platforms, I mean, do you really need a record deal, or is that just something that you want, to for other reasons? And again, I'll do another episode in regards to some of the pros and cons of working towards a deal, but today we're just going to talk about the pros and cons as an independent artist. So again, just to recap on some of the top pros that I feel in regards to being an independent artist: 100% creative control. You keep 100% of your profits, 100% ownership of your music, and you have online music services offered to independent artists where you can control when your music is going to be released, and your audiences can have direct access to you and your music online now, which makes it a lot easier. Back in the day, you had to wait for the record label to release the music. They decide most of the time when the music is released. Then you got to go to the store and get a CD, and it was just a little bit more of a process to get music. So those are I feel like some of the top reasons to stay an independent artist. And again, you have to do what's best for you as an independent artist. So do your research, come up with a plan, goals and a plan, and decide from there. Now, some of the cons to being an independent artist, one of them is limited resources and budgeting, right? So funding, like for mastering, distribution, marketing, merchandise, touring, and other expenses, it can be expensive as an independent artist. Like, it really can. And most independent artists don't have the resources and the money. And so that's when they try to strive for a deal with a record label or, investors. But even with that, especially today, you do have to have some sort of brand establishment already present in order for many people to consider signing you for a deal or investing in you. So don't think that you're just going to get out here and be an artist and then all of a sudden somebody's going to like one of your songs, but then they see that you really don't have a large following. You're not in demand. So they don't really have, if you will, they don't see the value that they'll get back in regards to signing you for a deal or investing in you. So you still got to put in that work. As independent artists starting their music career, you have limited network of fans and industry contacts, whereas a record label will have a larger fan base and connections with the music industry professionals. And so it makes it a little bit easier to get in contact with promoters, booking agents, media placements, etc. But again, you still got to put in that work in order for these record labels or investors to want to back you. So it's still about putting in that work. You may have limited business experience as an independent artist, which most do, and that's not to rag on artists or anything like that. It's just, it is what it is. Learning the ropes of the music industry is very challenging. It's a lot of work. However, this is what separates some of the good people who aren't that talented. Like, if you're not that talented and you learn the music business or you learn the industry you're in, that right there gives you a head start. And sometimes that trumps those who are very talented and have no clue on what's going on, and that can affect being successful in many ways. So learning the ropes of any business that you're in, artists, especially the music business, it takes time and experience to learn all the aspects of the music business. There's a lot of parts to manage. Things change all the time. There's music laws and much more. So it is complex, and I'm not going to say that an artist should know everything about the music industry, but definitely know some of the basics. And that's where you have to invest in people that you trust, and collab with them and create a team of individuals, or invest with companies that will guide you the proper way to make sure that you're properly taken care of when it comes to your music. And another con in regards to staying an independent artist is pursuing the independent artist route. It's very time consuming. Self-releasing your music can be like a full-time job. It requires work to know how and when to set up distribution, creating all the release assets as far as like developing a marketing strategy, tracking your sales, booking shows, everything associated with releasing music. There's a lot of components that factor into that. And so it does take away from the artist's creative time, if you will. It will take away from time that you might want to spend in the studio. It could take away from time that you might want to go out and perform and things of that nature. So your time is limited when it comes to doing this all alone as an independent artist. So if you do stay independent, I suggest you develop a team of people that you absolutely can trust, or invest in a company that provides the services that you need and that you're lacking in as far as education. Do your research on these companies, and make sure that they have evidence to back up what it is that they're offering. Every company is not as advanced as some. Some companies are just starting off. Doesn't necessarily mean that they don't know what they're doing, but that's when you really have to have conversations with individuals and ask questions that you feel like they should know the answers to. And if they can't answer your questions and you're still left in limbo, that's not who you want to work with, and not the company you want to invest in. So just a quick recap, some of the cons of being an independent artist: limited resources and budget, limited networking, connections, limited music business experience, and limited time. So you just have to weigh that out and decide. But even still, with the cons, if those are things that you struggle with and you want to work towards being signed with a label or getting investors, you're still going to have to put in that work and establish yourself as a valuable brand of artist that's worthy of backing and investors. So I hope that this was a quick little episode of tips I have in regards to pros and cons of staying an independent artist. Please stay tuned. I will be doing an episode in regards to pros and cons of signing with a record label. And until next time, I am out. The brain.